good side. This guy's taking pictures. I want to make sure he's got my good side. All right. So, you guys joining as well? Has everyone had their food already as well? Because once we start, you might not be able to get up. So once everyone joins, we'll start. Okay, can we please have the first slide? Okay, so just to give you an overview of what we're going to do today, we're going to be educating you to what is open banking and how does it work in Saudi and around the world. We're going to be entertaining you. We've got some things for you to join in. We're going to make it very interactive. And we're also going to excite you. We're going to make you excited about open banking, make you excited about this innovation that's happening. Don't mind us, just go. But find a table, guys. So, you guys gonna, you're not? Okay. Can you guys see over there? I want to make sure you guys can see what's going on. So, without no further ado then, I'm going to pass to Ibtisam, who's going to start walking through the proceedings. Enjoy, and yeah, look forward to it. Ibtisam.
أهلا وسهلا فيكم معنا في جلسة حوارية لنا في سنجل فيو. شكرا لفنتك السعودية على استضافتهم لنا الحدث هنا في المكان. اليوم جلستنا إن شاء الله بتكون بعنوان اندماج التقنية المالية حيث يتقاطع الابتكار مع خدمات المصرفية المفتوحة. هذه المرة الثانية على التوالي اللي نشارك فيها، وهدفنا الرئيسي إنه نحن ننشر الوعي عن المصرفية المفتوحة، وحريصين إن نكمل على هذا المشوار إن شاء الله في السنوات القادمة، وإن شاء الله راح نشارك أكثر في الجولات هنا بإذن الله. جولتنا اليوم تكون بالرياض، وفي جولة كمان في الخبر اليوم كمان، والأيام القادمة إن شاء الله راح نشارك في أبها والعلا وجدة. بالنسبة للمحاور الرئيسية اليوم راح نشارك فيها 3 محاور رئيسية. المحور الأول راح نتكلم عن مقدمة في المصرفية المفتوحة. المحور الثاني إن شاء الله راح نستعرض خدمات المصرفية المفتوحة. عفوا، المحور الثاني راح يكون عن حالات استخدام المصرفية المفتوحة وقصص النجاح. المحور الثالث والأخير راح يناقش مستقبل المصرفية المفتوحة. بسم الله نبدأ. أول محاور جلساتنا اليوم مع الأستاذ عبد الرحمن العريفي، رئيس تنفيذي شركة سنجل فيو.
Okay, great. So, does anyone not speak Arabic here?
Can we introduce it in English?
Okay, so we're gonna just for the, if we can just do a summarized English version of them, and then we're good.
This is our second time here in participating in Saudi Fintech tours. Thank you, Saudi Fintech, for hosting us in this event. Today, inshallah, our main goal is our aim is to separate the open banking and what is open banking to everyone. Our sessions will have 3 main pillars. The first pillar is introduction about the open banking. The second pillar will be the use cases of open banking. The third pillar, inshallah, will be discussion about the future of the open banking. We'll start our first pillar with Mr. عبد الرحمن العريفي, our CEO of Single View.
Thank you very much. شكرا جزيلا لحضوركم. شكرا لفنتك السعودية الداعمة للمصرفية المفتوحة والفنتك في المنطقة بشكل عام. وش المحور الأول ذكريني معلش.
Move to slide. Introduction of open banking.
اوكي، open banking.
Introduction about open banking.
طيب، المصرفية المفتوحة الاوبن بانكينج طبعا هو عندما بدأ هذا الشيء وعندما حدث هذا الشيء كان السنجل فيو، وتحمل سنجل فيو كثير من المعاني في اسمها. سنجل فيو معناه نظرة واحدة، فالاوبن بانكينج أو المصرفية المفتوحة هي نظرة واحدة لجميع الحسابات البنكية، العمليات المالية. وناخذ مثال، اليوم لو حب الواحد منا يطلب من أكل من مطعم أو شيء، ما يروح على الويب سايت حق المطعم، يروح على ابلكيشن الدليفري وير هي هاف، ولا وين هو يقدر يشوف أكثر من خيار. المصرفية المفتوحة اليوم تعطيك هذا الخيار بس مع حساباتك البنكية، تشوف كم عندك بين حساباتك، تشوف وش عندك، وين مصاريفك جالسة تستهلكها في أي منحى من مناحي الحياة، وكذلك تعطيك أشياء مفيدة بحيث أنك تقنن مصروفاتك، تقنن تعرف وين تحط فلوسك كاستثمار أو كادخار. يعني هذه تقريبا المصرفية المفتوحة باللغة العامية. بلغة البنوك وبلغة الفنتك، المصرفية المفتوحة هي حق مشاركة البيانات يمنح للعميل واستطيع ان امنحه لمن يشاء. سنجل فيو لو جينا حبينا نتكلم عنها، احنا بدأنا من عام 2019 في الفنتك سبيس عشان ننشر الوعي بالمصرفية المفتوحة أولا، ثانيا بالتكنولوجيا المالية، ونستفيد جميعا من التكنولوجيا المالية في جميع مناحي الحياة. طبعا أنا متأكد أن كلنا اليوم عندنا رحلة جميلة مع الفاينانشال تكنولوجي أو المصرفية أو مع التكنولوجيا المالية. كلنا نطلب أكل ونطلب ملابس، نركب تاكسي، ما نشيل معانا فلوس كاش فيزيكال. جوالك هو اليوم هو مفتاح الأشياء هذه. واليوم أيضا عندنا الاستطاعة أن احنا نسافر ونطلع من مكان لمكان بدون ما نحمل اكشوال والت ولا محفظة حقيقية. معانا محفظة افتراضية فيها البطاقات البنكية وفيها كل شيء. فتقريبا هذا الهدف اللي بنيناه في 2019، والحمد لله استطعنا أن نشترك مع البنوك السعودية في هذه الرحلة بمساعدة البنك المركزي، واستطعنا بفضل الله أن نوصل إلى أنه يعني نكون كونكتد مع كل البنوك السعودية، وقدرنا أن نصير كونكتد مع بنوك أجنبية. فبعد البداية بدأت التشريعات المصرفية المفتوحة عام 21، وبفضل الله تعالى قدرنا أن احنا نحصل على الساند بوكس، وكذلك استطعنا أن نكون أول فنتك سعودية ترخص في جميع حالات الاستخدام اللي بنشرحها لكم بعد شوي، حالات الاستخدام في المصرفية المفتوحة. من 21 إلى اليوم استطعنا أن ننجز إنجازات كثيرة، استطعنا أن نتصل مع البنوك بشكل عام، وعملائنا صاروا يعرفوننا وصاروا يستخدمون خدماتنا بشكل أكبر. اليوم احنا في عام 23 المايلستونز اللي حققناها كثيرة أو النقاط اللي قدرنا نحققها كثيرة في سنجل فيو، أهمها كان النجاح في الاتصال مع جميع البنوك السعودية. واليوم نقدر ان احنا اي احد يستخدم تطبيق سنجل فيو سواء افراد او شركات بيقدر يشوف حساباته في جميع البنوك. وقريبا ان شاء الله بتبدا المدفوعات عن طريق المصرفية المفتوحة.
شكرا لك استاذ عبد الرحمن العريفي، رئيس تنفيذي شركه سنجل فيو. Next we will move to Mr. Sayed. He will talk about the security of open banking and the data sharing in open banking. Is this working fine?
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Ibtisam. Thank you, Swandi Fintech, for allowing us this opportunity to come over here and speak about the security of the open banking from our perspective. Can you move to the slides? So probably everyone knows about the open banking. What is open banking? Open banking is a term that is used inside the multiple companies, multiple organizations have started to work towards the open banking. And this is a regulation that has come in Saudi as well. Previously, we had this in Europe, and in Europe, they were working with PSD2, as a one that we wanted to have a regulatory authority. Similarly, in Saudi also, when we started with this one, we were the first company that we started in 2019 on a journey of single view, where we brought in the concept of open banking before the open banking comes into the Saudi market itself. We had a vision of creating a multiplicity of bank, a single view, a concept that you'll be able to view all your transactions through a single window. And single view started that journey in 2019. And that time we didn't have any single view, we didn't have any open banking regulations, but we built an application that was purely based on the open banking concepts. So when we built this application, we know that the security is extremely important. We discussed with multiple banks and started connecting with the banks. And all the banks that we connected it, we had to go through the complete rigorous security measures that we need to take care from that perspective. So when we built this application, we built the application with strong customer authentication, which is very much required. We built it with multi-factor authentication. We use technologies And these technologies, we use blockchain as a heart of it, because blockchain gives you, a security concept where you will not be able to move around the data from one block to another block, but you have to have a strong customer authentication to move this data, and the data is completely encrypted. And the payloads are also encrypted in it. Can you move to the slides of security? So from that perspective, we have built, so if you look at it, we built it based on the security PSU authentication, which is more from the customer's perspective. Then you have got the authentication for the content, which is explicit based on the PSU consent. And then the TLS, which is now it is called as the MTLS, where you have got mutual certificates between two systems, where you have a handshake between the public key and the private key together to ensure that the data that is shared across is secured between both the organizations. Now, if you want to know about the APIs, everyone is aware of the APIs. What are those APIs? We'll just give a simple example over here. If you want to see about the weather, and then the weather apps that you're using it on your application, on your mobile app, weather is something that the source of this weather is the companies that build the weather information. But if you want to get that information onto your mobile app and all that, you connect them through an API and fetch this information. So this information is what you get it through the APIs, and these are the APIs that acts as a source of information. How the information is getting published, how the information is getting through for the weather is not your concern, but your concern is to get the data, and that data is available onto your applications through the API itself. Now, if you look at open APIs, open APIs plays an important role when it comes to open banking technologies. Open APIs is usually, it's not like the financial APIs, but it is more open, and it allows the fintechs and other organizations to easily communicate with other organizations. And it also trusted using the OAuth authentication, which gives you the multi-factor authentication and also tokenization of your request in order to ensure that every request that you're passing through is provided with advanced security, where you tokenize this and then you get the data. And then it also gives you the integrity, so that it's very important that the data that is coming up is clear and clean, and it is also robust, that it is available for you when it is required. These all are based on the consent. If you have the consent, then you will be able to get this data. If you really look at it, the security on the open banking is, first is the identity and access management, where you know that, okay, all the customers. So rollback access system, we all know about it, RBAC that we use it. So we use it from the secure client access using a combination of client ID and client code, and then we have got the SHA-256 algorithm to create a client secret key. Based on that, you generate an access token and then the session ID. So all these parameters are used for creating your identity management, and then the certificate is exchanged between the banks and also the application. Based on that, there is also a policy and user manual which defines the roles of any user to get that access. And then you have got an authentication where you will see it from the key perspective. You have a client secret key, then you have got the authorization, and then you will also be able to get the policy enforcement. Then you have got the traffic management on it. So you ensure that, okay, there is not much traffic pushing it across to ensure that the security is there. And then you'll also log all these things and do an audit activity for that. Based on this, you'll also be able to have the threat protection. So all these security parameters are incorporated into an application to ensure that the data that is coming out from this is pretty secured based on the consent given by the PSUs. What is meant by consent? Consent is something that is provided by the PSU to allow a TPP to access the details to their account. So if you want to give an access to your account, to your bank account, or to your financial information, PSU as a user, as a consumer, has to provide a consent, sharing that, okay, giving an access as a consent to the TPP to get the details. And once you provide the consent, based on the consent and based on the authentication and based on the tokenization that's been done, the PSU, the client will be able to get the details of the PSU from the financial institutions itself. So high level of consent on the customer's guidelines, if you look at it, the PSU is completely in control of their data all the times. Same rules apply for whether it is an individual or the corporates. There are different types of consents that's there. It's a one-time consent that allows TPP to get the access one time through that consent. You have also got multiple consents that, okay, you will be able to provide multiple access. You have also got time-boxed consent where you tell them that, okay, for a particular specific time, you will be able to provide the consent so that the details can be fetched. You have also got a long leave consent where you give a long leave consent to ensure that the data keeps on coming up for you, and then you will be able to access the data based on the long leave consent. And as a PSU, you are always in control of your consent. You can revoke the consent anytime that you want. This will not allow any TPP or any other third party to get your data. And then the responsibility of the consent management is also provided on your dashboard as well. Any PSU who wants to see the consents or manage the consents, they will be able to view on the application, and they will be able to revoke that consent whenever they want. So this is the AISP, which is Account Information Services Consent Dashboard. You can see that, okay, you can see how many connections are live. You can also see which accounts and data that you're sharing it. You can also inform how long this access and agreement is there between a PSU and the TPP as well. You can also classify what data access that the TPP has it or the client has it. You can revoke the access one time for one payment or another payment also. And then you can also see the different types of consents, the request, why the consent has been made, and how you'll be able to access the data using these consents. Similarly, on the PISP contents dashboard, you can check what all connections are live with it, so you can connect with multiple banks or single bank. These are all based on the consent that you have given, okay? And you will also be able to know from which bank account you're initiating a payment and how long this consent is going to be valid, whether the consent is active or inactive. That's all you need to see from that perspective. You will also be able to classify the payment, and then you can revoke the consent, as I mentioned in the ASP part slide as well. You'll be able to revoke the consent whenever you want. So consent management for the corporates, does corporate gives the consent? Yes, corporate also need to give the consent. It's usually a similar approach that you have got for the PSUs. Same approach is for the consent management of the corporates. Corporate consents might be defined by a joint consent that can be given by two individuals, or it can be a single individual as well, authorized by the corporate to provide a consent to the company. So based on that, you will be able to provide this data. You will be able to give the consents, and then the consents, based on the corporate consent, the data of the corporates will be available to the clients and onto their application as well. Yes, why all the banks have the same corporate requirements? Yes, the SAMA mandates everyone to have standards for their API, standards for their consents management, standard to provide the data, standards in giving the open APIs. These standards are extremely important in order for us to build an ecosystem where you want to ensure that, okay, we are all building a great tool that can give us a proper, consents, and also give you the proper data which is classified properly. SAMA is doing a great job and fantastic job in consolidating this and giving the guidelines to ensure that we are having a standard APIs coming in from all the banks. All the PASP are providing a standard APIs, and consuming that standard APIs will also give you a clear visibility, and it will also make the decision making very easy for the customers. What were the challenges faced by us when we started the open banking? Integration complexity was there, where every bank has their own different APIs. They have their own format. So we had a lot of challenges coming in to streamline that process. Then also the lack of implementation of security policies, data integrity and all that. We have to work towards that, ensure that the data security is mapped. And also, when it comes to the compliance perspective, all banks has their own way of doing the compliance. Some has got the SAMA CSF, some has got their own internal cyber security team. Everyone was having different security frameworks. So with this one, we had challenges at the time. Even the APIs or the banks exposing the APIs on the open banking APIs and all that, it was not scalable, and it was not also reliable as well. The stability issues were there, And then bank readiness, even though the readiness of the banks, we had this, it's going to be ready by March 2023 and all that, but it keeps delaying it. The reason is because it was the first time that such kind of an environment was getting created, and all of them were working towards a goal to ensure that the open banking APIs are released, AISP is released, and then it's released based on the KSA standards. Initially, when the bank started it, they all started working with the UK standards, and then once the SAMA came in and then started regulating it and pushing all the banks to make sure that, okay, they all put in across as a KSA standards, then it resulted in, working towards that goal. And now what we could see is that from the banks that we have got, approximately 70 to 80% banks are on the KSA standards. Rest of the banks are still working towards the KSA standards, which we expected to complete by end of this year or maximum by first quarter. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Said. I think that was a really good explanation of security. Sorry, did you hear that at the back? So say that one more time.
Bank Riyadh is the first bank be ready, so we give him that.
Oh, nice. You want to show your hand there so that everyone knows who we're talking about here? All right, so you heard a lot of PIS, AIS, PASP, AISP, API, all these lovely acronyms. And you're probably thinking, what on earth are these people talking about? Can I get a show of hands, first of all, to who knows what a PSU stands for? Just show of your hands. There's got to be someone. Not you, it's a cheat. I mean, anyone else? You do. What does a PSU stand for? Anyone? Okay. So in that case, with that being said, can we go a little bit of a slide called as our key acronym slide here. So next one, next one, next one, stop. Go back, stop. So this is your cheat sheet. Now I want you all to take a really good look at this. Why? Because it's going to be part of a little test that you guys are going to do. Don't take pictures. Don't take, I saw that. Don't take pictures. I don't want to see no pictures. I want you guys to look, and I'm going to go through each one. So, AIS, Account Information Services.
I just asked him to memorize it.
You just what?
I just asked him to memorize
No,
it.
don't tell them that. Ignore her.
احفظوها.
Ignore her. Don't say it in Arabic. I know what you said. So, then you've got an AISP, which is basically a TPP who provides data. Okay? You've got an API, like Syed very well went through in terms of the web application, gets ones to talk to each other. The consent, nothing happens without consent. I am not giving you my data without the consent. PASP, let's just call that a bank. You're not going to go down the street and say, hey, I work for a PASP. No, you're going to say you work for a bank. PIS, Payment Initiation Services. So this one is about payments. PISP, again, it's not going to get you invited to a lot of parties. So it's a fintech who deals with payments. PSU is the end consumer. You are all PSUs, every single one of you, no exception. So you're the ones who control, own the data and use the service. And then finally, a TPP is...
Single view.
No. Do you want to take the mic? I mean, I'm working here. So, yeah, so TPP is single view. And it's also anyone else who deals with open banking services. Everyone got that now? Everyone understand? Okay? Good. I'm expecting high scores from all of you. Did anyone take pictures? Tell me the truth. You're lying. I don't believe you. All right. Next slide then, please. So what's happening in KSA? So KSA or SAMA have established roles for everyone. Okay? So we've got our regulator. They control things. They tell us what to do. We comply. Think of it like your parents. Then you've got PSUs, the guys who own the data. You are all PSUs. The information in your bank account belongs to you. Regardless of what Mr. Riyad Bank says, it belongs to you. Fourth parties, these are fintechs who provide services. They provide loans, they provide payments, but they only do it with a single consent. Okay? But the agents, they get to do single and long-lived consent. So they can offer more services. Oh, you're not going to remind them about that point. That's a key point. And you're silent now. All right, then you've got... It's too late, you had your chance. Now you've got a TPP called an ASP, PASP. These are both data and payment fintechs. PSP, which are your bank data holders, and finally your TSP, who provide pipes and do compliance for other fintechs. Okay? Clear? Remember it? It's going to come up. Okay, so if we now you've all got that. If we skip through to, we're going to talk a little bit about, if you can, one more. So we're going to talk a little bit now about the global perspective. So, well, go back one slide. She's very trigger happy today. So, again, next slide. Thank you both for being so flexible and adaptive. Yeah, you could have just said something. Anyways, this is a very important slide. Why?
احفظوها.
Can anyone translate for me? Okay, fine. Oh, good. Thank you very much, my friend. So, I'm going to ignore this. So, regulation, or every country deals with open banking differently. KSA is regulated. The US does their own thing. Some other countries do their own thing. South Africa's apparently doing their own thing. But you have regulatory and market-driven. These are two different approaches on how to go through open banking. So if we make sure you ingrain this into your mind as well. Next slide. Please, next slide. Finish your tweet. That's it. Okay, so now we have regulation versus industry. So regulation is all about consumer rights, building a framework, helping everyone to ensure that they operate within an environment that makes it fair for everyone to do open banking services. They give you standards, specifications, rule and a framework. Think of it like traffic lights. A country without traffic lights has no rules about stopping and starting. And then you've got industry. Now industry, they aren't governed by rules or regulations by government. Instead, they look at the market need and what does the customers want. So say, for example, you have a customer who wants to be able to know when his train is coming or whatever. They'll build that based upon the need. Whereas regulation would build the framework and say, well, you can only tell them when the buses are coming. It's a big difference. So if we go to the next one. So UK, like Said mentioned earlier about PSD2, they led the way. I'm from the UK. You probably didn't guess that. But anyway, I'm from the UK, so I've looked at PSD2 for a while and what they're doing. And for them, they are trailblazing open banking needs to look like as they go forward. So if you go to the next slide, this is a few of the numbers. They might not look staggering, but if you just take a look at this one at the bottom here. Sorry, Said, I don't want to. So in 2020, 2% of consumers in the UK were using open banking services. In 3 years' time, that came to 12%. Numbers, percentages might seem small, but if you think about how many people in the UK, that's 1 in 9 are using open banking services. Now, it's up to all of us in KSA to push that and to pull it out of the water, to kill what the UK was doing. We're going to do better. So if I go to the next one now. So now you've learned a little bit about regulation. We're going to talk a little bit about the use cases. Now, use cases, what is open banking data and payments used for? So I will pass to our esteemed CEO here, Mr. Abdurrahman, to talk through use cases, what they are, who can benefit from them. And then after that, it's going to be over to you. And we'll explain what that means. Mr. Abdurrahman.
Thank you, Eugene. Okay. So use cases. SAMA has approved 8 use cases to the Saudi market. And I want to walk you through those use cases in a short words. We'll start with account aggregation. Account aggregation basically means if you have more than one account, you can see them in one screen. So if you have 10 bank accounts, you can see them in one screen. If you have 5 bank accounts, you can see them in one screen. You can see consolidated balance, you can see consolidated transaction, and everything. This is basically the account aggregation. Now, who benefits from account aggregation? And everybody benefits from account aggregation. PSUs, payment service user, you haven't said that. So PSU is a payment service user, so everybody is a payment service user. Second use case is the, what is it now? Yeah, credit risk assessment, sorry. Thank you, Sam. Credit risk assessment is, if I want to apply for a loan from my mobile app, I know this is a luxury that only us in Saudi Arabia maybe have it, but if you want to apply for a mobile through your mobile app, through a loan, this company, this lender, want to check your credit, want to know what you are doing, want to know how you spend your money. They don't care about your history because, you know, you might be defaulting 2 years ago on a credit card. But if you have a good future, they will lend you money. How they will know? Single view, gonna do that. Any TBB that access your account will give them a good, let's say, affordability test, or let's say a good credit history or bad credit history depending on the user. And they will tell them, you have too many kids that you're spending money on, or you have spending your money on shopping, on other stuff. So this analytics will help me as a lender to grant you, either I give you a loan or how much even loan I'm going to give you. So this is the second use case. Third use case, if we talked about the personal finance management. This is actually interesting because everybody of us spend money, but at the end of the month they said, where is the money? So in this case, personal finance management will tell you what to do, will give you an examples how you can spend smarter, save smarter, even invest smarter. Because again, we sit on all of your banks, we know your transactions, so we'll tell you drink too much coffee or you spend too much on this or that. So this is the third, I think, use case.
Account aggregation?
I've already covered that. Okay. KYC is when I say KYC, you will immediately, especially who works in banks or used to work in banks, they will immediately think of very long, painful process.
Excuse me. I'm not sure if you remember, but Sama said we can't use the word
Yes,
KYC.
it's customer attribute.
But yeah, so can you use another word?
Okay. I know, I'm coming.
Thank you. Just checking.
Just 1 minute. So the KYC is actually nothing but knowing your customer in a way, profiling your customer. So it's profiling our customer. Single View will profile you based on your expenses, based on your income, based on everything. So, for example, if you walk into, let's say, any bank now, you will fill too many papers, you will sign everything. But now you can open your mobile app and open an account. Why? Because everything is digital now. You can check, you know your customer from just a press of a button. With open banking, the good thing is you can know his spending, you can know where he's making money from, because this is the hardest part in the KYC, is the financial kind of thing. Next one. Okay. Okay, who benefits from open banking? Who you think benefits from open banking? Is it banks?
Right here. Is it a question to everyone, or can I answer?
No.
Fair enough.
Who benefits from open banking? How do you think? Banks? Companies? BSUs, of course, all of us.
I was going to say that.
I know. Ahmed took it from your mouth. Everybody actually get benefits from open banking. Surprisingly, even the government will get benefit from open banking, because government sometimes give initiative to people to give them like support or any other kind of aid. Open banking will help them. So open banking is essential for everybody in the ecosystem, starting from the BSUs till the banks and corporates, charities, you name it. Because again, it relies on data. So how good is the data? Data is depending. You cannot have data from other source you can rely on except the data in the banks, believe me. Great. So I think this is too detailed example. If we limited, can I skip this?
Yeah, sure you can.
This is very detailed examples, but let's go to this is also, we've covered that.
Oh,
okay.
Actually, before
this.
No, okay. I think we covered it. But Abdurrahman, I couldn't help but notice that some people in the crowd looked a little bit confused. It's not you. That was a great delivery, my friend. Yeah. But I think we're going to have to try and put this into a little bit of a scenario. So can we have some volunteers from the crowd, please? We want to try and build our own use case here. So I need 2 PSUs. Can I get two PSUs? You seem to talk a lot. How about you, our first PSU? Okay, give him a round of applause, Mr. PSU. All right, so this is our first PSU, but we need another one. Can I get another volunteer for a PSU? If you don't choose, I will choose for you.
Don't make him choose. Don't make him choose.
Well, no, this is about fun. Like this. Oh yeah, okay, Mr. PSU, you choose.
Choose your friend.
Yep. Okay. Great. Does he have a name, or are you just going to point to him?
Canon.
Ah, Canon. Of course, I know this guy. A round of applause for him, please. Okay, he's our second PSU. Now what we need a fourth party. So we need a TPP lender. Who wants to be our lender? I saw a hand. You can't be a lender. You have no money. Anyone else, please? Okay, guys, you're not going to make this easy for me. No, it's kind of your choice. You choose, right? Yeah, so you choose our lender. Who's our fourth party? Oh, this guy then, he just pointed. Just do this. You want to choose again?
Pfizer?
He looks
Okay,
like
good.
he have a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a pretty cool outfit, you're right. Okay, good. Now we need our PASP, which is our bank.
Sultan.
Oh, hold on. What? Yeah, this guy.
Sultan.
This guy, he looks like a banker. Do you want to come up here, Mr. Banker? Give him a round of applause. Give him something to jump up. Okay, so we have and I need someone to play single view. Who's single view in the house? Single view in the house.
May I be?
Who?
Me.
You want to be single view?
Yes. May I?
I guess.
Thank
You
you.
got a badge? Yeah, okay, great. You can be single view. All right, so thank you, Mr. Bank. So we're going to have our Mr. Bank. Oh, no, he doesn't sit down. We have our bank. So, Mr. Bank, can you please stand here?
This is the beauty.
Okay, Mr. PSU, lender and single view. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to tell you a story. So our first PSU, he has a credit score with Simmer, and he's got some banking information. He's going to go and apply for a loan from our lender. Okay? No. Then we have our other PSU right here. Thank you, sir. He has no credit score, but he's got a lot of information for his bank account. All right? Both of them have a bank account with our Mr. Bank here. And our lender's going to lend them money. So, what do you think the journey is going to be? The first thing is both our PSUs go to apply for a loan. Mr. Lender, he has no credit. He has a credit score and a lot of bank information. He has no credit score. Who do you give the loan to?
I don't have enough information.
Okay, so let's say in an ideal world that you do have enough information and you're able to tell his credit score is good, but you do still know nothing about this guy. What do?
Give it to the guy with a good credit score.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. PSU has got a loan. He's gone to buy his car and he's driving to Bahrain. Thank you very much. So he's got his loan, but this guy, he has a lot of money. He just doesn't have a credit score. So what do? Okay, so what we do first of all, he has no credit score, but he has a bank account. We're going to use his bank account to explain how much money he has. So Mr. PSU, you go to single view and you say, okay, single view, I'm going to give you, if you bake it, you buy it. Right? So Mr. PSU, you go to your single view, you say, look, single view, I'll give you consent to get my banking information to convince Mr. Lender that I have enough money to get a loan to buy a car. All right? So you give your consent to Mr. There you go, you give your consent. Okay. And Mr. Single view, now what do you do with that consent?
I take this consent and went back to the bank and give him this consent.
Okay, so the bank, and do you accept this consent?
Sure, yes. And we expose the data.
Oh, just like that? Wow,
Yeah.
okay, so great.
We get the consent and then we expose the data.
Very good. Yeah. So did you all hear that? He exposed the data with the consent. Very nice. Okay, so you have the data. Now what do you do, Mr. Single View?
I do a report, analysis report, a credit score, and with the specific score to that applicant and give it to the lender. That lender decide if he can give him the money or not. Okay, so what you're telling me, now I just turned up here, I saw the flyer, but you've now given him a credit score. So he can now go back to the lender with that score? Yes.
Okay, Mr. Lender, our PSU now has a credit score which shows that he has enough money to afford any loan that you may give him. What's your decision now?
To lend with long-term consent.
Great. So now you're going to lend him money. So now we have not only our Mr. PSU who has a credit score can get a car, also our PSU who doesn't have a credit score can also get a car. They're both happy. They've gone and got their car. The lender's happy because he's got to send out 2 loans he gets money for. Single View's happy because they provide the service. But what about Mr. Bank? Are you happy, sir?
Yes, I'm happy.
Are you happy because you're looking forward to the weekend, or are you happy because why are you happy?
Because we're opening, we're for innovation and more innovative products and solutions to the market.
Thank you very much. So what you have here, ladies and gentlemen of the board, is you have 2 happy PSUs, a very happy Single View, very happy lender, and an extremely happy bank. Give a round of applause to our volunteers. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So now it's going to be over to you. Are you all on your tables? You'll notice on your tables you have 2 pens, one orange, one green. Anyone can think of what they're going to be for? No, not to throw at the presenter. They're going to be for the next thing. You'll see someone's going to be coming around with 2 maps. So if we go to our next slide, there's 2 games we're going to play now. The winning table gets a prize. So I suggest that you all think about this very well. Now, if you don't believe me, if you stand up and look over there to that far table, you will see some Single View branded bags. They are not for advertising, they're for prizes. Excuse me, this table over here just seems a bit suspect. You've got Keith from Plaid, you've got... No, this can't work. If you don't mind, please, could you please move to another table? At least one of you guys. Guys, you're not playing fair. People at the back, I would join a table if I was you because there's prizes. So join a table, and you as well, sir, in the lovely suit. Could you please join the table? Right, everyone sees the maps? Hold on, aren't you Fintech Saudi? What are you doing on the table? Who said? You just turned up. All right, so